Hey, I'm Kevin Churko.
And I'm Kane Churko.
And today we're going to show you our ControlHub Expansion Pack with the presets. And we're even going to mix a little too. All right, so what we got going on here is basically I've recorded some drums just in the room just next door here. And I just thought we'd do it from scratch. So all the drums have been recorded without EQ, without compression, just a preamp and in. Again, this is me playing, so nobody be talking about how bad the drumming is, although I've made a couple little edits. Just because
a couple.
The first thing I like doing is actually to just get an overview of just kind of the room or the overheads. Really, it's kind of a tom thing. So it's a pretty dead room too. You'll notice it's a small room. All right, so let's open up first instance of ControlHub. Literally, I've tried to make this as easy as it can be. Just click on the stereo overhead. This is just a stock patch. Turn it on. Boy, it sounds amazing. Without doing anything at all, really. And you don't have to just start with, oh, that's the mono overhead. We'll get to that in a bit. You can open it and kind of fool around. It might be a little bit bright. It's not usually too bright if it's just drums. There's not a whole lot of cymbals. In fact, I recorded the cymbals separately. So this is just really to try to get the brightness and the attack out of the kit. I just wanted to see how the kit balanced. Okay, we got that. I'm actually going to mute all that right now. And then we'll just start, after I kind of know what I'm dealing with, then I go back to the kick drum. Again, this has just got one microphone in it. Go to my ControlHub. I just could probably do a little bit by ear here. I still want to have a little bit of bottom, but if you take all that low mid out, it kind of really starts to make it sound like a heavier drum. And oddly enough, I still roll off some of the bottom. And I'll also roll off a little bit of the top. Just because, you don't need all that bleed into the kick drum mic. Probably take this guy. Kind of a, not necessarily a metal-y kit, but it is still in the rock vein, so we'll add a little bit of top end. I'm gonna actually go over to the master key. I'm not gonna actually use any compression, but I am going to put a little bit of drive in there. It's okay to put a little bit of saturation in there. And then going to take this guy, take a little bit more. Cool. Let's listen to it with ControlHub off. What's that? That's not even a kick drum. Okay, cool. We have a bass drum inside. Let's go to the outside. I'm just going to solo that, make sure we know what we got. As you can tell, I've already done a little bit of this. This is from default too. So I won't get too much into the weeds here, but obviously just rolled off. This is the outside microphone. So I'm just really hoping to get a little bit extra warmth and a little bit of bottom end from it. You can tell when I add this on, just a little bit. Maybe we'll put a little bit of stank in this too. Yeah.
That drive knob is actually really great. I find myself using that a lot as well.
Do you find yourself going more towards the tape or the tube?
I like them both. They both kind of give you a different shape, a different kind of color.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm probably guilty of slamming the tape and the tube one both.
Yeah.
To almost done.
I know. I just start at the top and work my way back.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm sure some other guys will too. All right, we have a bass drum. Sounds pretty good. All right, snare. Again, this is literally how I would start, is I would just activate this. I would probably just go to the first snare. And I think the snare presets that we got, so some of these I made and some of these he made. So all the ones you'll probably use are mine, and all the ones you just kind of listen for fun are going to be his.
And all the ones that will make your mix better are mine.
Yeah. Right. So I won't tell you whose are whose. Nobody will know that except for us. I'm just going to start with the first one because right off the bat, that one to me seems like the closest to a natural sounding drum. And again, I'd probably just shave off a little bit of the bottom. Have to turn this on, not that much. I mean, honestly, I don't even feel I have to do much to that yet.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, we'll see how it sounds once the whole mix starts taking shape. Let's get the bottom mic on. Again, I just literally flipped to the snare down preset. Already sounds good. I think for my own taste, I kind of usually try to get a little bit more bottom off it and kind of get a little bit more sizzle from it. You can grab it up here too if you like. Take the bottom mic off. Okay, turn the mic on. Kill it. Just a little bit of definition and point. All right, now we got a kick and a snare both, which sounded pretty good for just like having flat sounds. And we're just flipping through the presets. It takes shape fast.
In just a few minutes.
Right?
Yeah.
And oddly enough, it was a 12-inch tom, so we'll just flick right to the 12-inch tom.
That's already good.
Yeah. So that's the stock preset. Off. And with it on, there's a little bit of that low kind of, I don't know what bump. You can even see it visually on the graph here. I'm probably going to take that down just a little bit here too. You don't want to suck the life out of that drum, but it does seem a little bit. Ooh. All right, turn the plug-in off. Doesn't even sound like the same drum.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, let's get to what I always like and think is a lot of fun. Actually, let's play a little bit of that fill here with all the toms here. A little dry at this point. A little bit dry at this point. Right?
So on those other toms, you just use the other tom presets that you made.
Yeah. So say on tom 3 here, I literally went to the 14-inch tom.
Yeah.
And then tom 4, I went to the 6-inch tom, and I think I kept that one for the tom 5 as well. They're pretty similar in tone. So I think I was playing a couple floors on that day. Off. Sounds pretty muffly. On.
Wow.
And that was in seconds.
Already so clear and punchy, and it could have been a different drum kit altogether. Really.
Yeah. Okay, so from that, we won't go to the mono yet. We'll just go to the overhead, which we already kind of tweaked there a little bit. All right, we got that in. Just see how much. Sorry, I usually start with that and add the close mics in, but in this case, I'll just do it to taste. Yeah, I mean, I might even give that a bit of drive too.
Yeah.
Just being aggressive, right? Take the bottom. We can, we can compress it like that too. Let's just see. Let's take it off for a second. Yeah. A little bit of life. Let's add it to the track. Again, plugins off. Plugins on.
Yeah.
Pretty close. I mean, that's really, again, I don't feel like I need a break. I don't feel like I need to go get a beer. I feel like, we're getting somewhere. All right, let's look at the overhead. Mono overhead, I usually put on top of the kit. So this is, again, the mono overhead preset. It's probably, if I remember, a little bit distorted. Let's just see. Yeah. Yeah. And we could even, I didn't really want to put too much drive in the preset itself, because I want people to be able to adjust it less or more, but I would probably have even more drive on that. Let's add that into the drums. I'm going to slowly bring it up as we play so you can kind of hear what it does. I think we need to have even more distortion on that. Not too much. So that's with an overhead mono off. Here's it on. So it just adds a little bit of character, a little bit of flavor, a little bit of
focus within the center, compression and stuff like that. Eh?
And we don't have a whole mix happening here, but those kind of things make it speak a little louder in the mix. Let's just have it more presence. All right, one more thing on these drums here that we're gonna go over is just, in that room that I have here, it's quite a small room, but I do have a closet. So what I do, and this is important because this is a ControlHub thing too. So I'll literally mic the closet, but this is how the closet itself sounds. It's very small, it doesn't sound great. And you'd be surprised what this actually is, right? And yeah, okay. It's a little bright because it is a really bright room. Okay, so that makes it a little bit livable. Maybe I'll roll a little bit more bottom up. But this is what else we can do in ControlHub is we can put a reverb on. So that's the closet room mic going into the reverb full. I mean that's just a Heaven Chamber 1 short setting, but that already sounds like a little bigger room.
Yeah.
And then just bring back the mix knob, just for your taste. It doesn't have to be all that. Although I do want to show you. No plugin. Plugin, but we're gonna bring the mix back a bit. And you can also do this cool stereo spread here a little bit too. Mid side. Here, check out this. You kind of make it a little bit more stereo than the boring, like literally the closet's like this big. But now it's this big. Still a little bright here. Okay. Okay, it's still a little bit too loud, but you'll hear how it's kind of affecting it. On, off. I'm just going to turn it down a little bit. It might be good to add a little bit of verb to some of this. Let's go back to the snare and just make sure. And again, activate. I have the reverb on an aux just because I can send all the drums to it. And I literally brought up, as I'll show you, the reverb drum chamber. And again, you don't really have to do much of that. This is... All right, so the other thing that you can do is also add a little bit of verb onto that closet too, and that even gives it even more life. Now that literally sounds like a room.
Do you still have the verb on the control hub and that verb going?
Yeah.
Okay.
So basically,
adding more verb.
Yeah, okay, that verb is verbing the verb. Cool. That was verbing the closet verb. All right. So now let's listen to what we got there as far as the. Yeah, cool. Take all the plugins off. Oh, and the verb off. Add the plugins and the verb. A whole new drum kit. It's a whole new drum kit. Okay, let's just do cymbals now. I did record cymbals separately because that's the way I roll. But used almost exactly the same settings. I just went through and flipped to stereo overhead. Really, I didn't really create any magic from this. Even this is just. I did the room slam. Probably shouldn't have done the room slam. Let's go back to the stereo room. Yeah, that's better. That's better like that. Put them both on. Got my closet in there again. It's not too loud on cymbals. It tends to make it sound a little bit too abrasive. All right, so here's the cymbals. Take out the plugins. Yeah, add that to the kit. Let's take off the plugs here. And get that? Okay. Should have put this on down here. I don't want to do that, I guess. Take the verb off. Put the joy on. Cool. Maybe it's a little too much verb there. Probably take a little bit of the verb down. I think it's. Oh, you know what it is? It's that closet's a little bit loud. In my enthusiasm, made it a little too loud. Let's get set up for the big fill at the end. All right, but wait, there's more. There's more. So these are the buses. So again, I got all the drums routed to this auxiliary here, and go into the, oh, look what I used. I used the drum bus popper. because I want the drums to pop. Literally chose that. Lighten the compression because my drums are quite loud. Maybe add a little bit of bypass it. I mean, these are really cool because this preset was a culmination of, you can tell, Fatso, an oven, you know, different kind of plugins to make that, and you get it instantly. Plus, you can still adjust it. Turn it off. And then usually I stick that through another master, another drum master, and this one is a lot lighter, just a mixed bus catch-all.
Yeah, that's a good one. I find myself able to use that one on a lot of things, not just a mixed bus, but drum buses and other tracks.
So, why is it called a catch-all?
Because it catches everything.
Did I make that one, or did you make that?
I'm pretty sure that's one of your presets.
Oh, all right. See how usable it is? I'm going to turn that off. You know, just a little bit. Maybe you can feed the drums into your mix a little bit louder without having to turn them up. Just kind of rounds the edges there a little bit and tightens up that bottom.
Yeah.
And then one more master on the master. And look, it's also a catch-all.
Yep.
So we're catching the catches. And again, I'd probably lighten this a little bit here. Or another cool thing to do is you could make it heavier. Put the compression on there pretty strong. And then just use the mix knob. But back it off. Like a parallel thing. And then one more little bit of joy. I have a distortion track.
Oh, cool.
For the drums, which let's just solo that distortion track. Oh, I'm going to take the cymbals off because they're not going to go through it. There we go. I'll turn it up a little bit so we can hear more of it. I just did that from scratch, but let's just try one of our little plugins here. You know, I noticed that there's a good vocal distortion.
I got a couple vocal distortion ones there.
Yeah. That one. That's cool. It's really slamming. Let me take the bottom end off, though. Oh, I gotta turn that on, I guess. Don't want too much bottom because it'll start phasing out weird. Might as well take the top spray off, too. Okay, so let's turn the main. Again, just a little bit of that mid bite, little mid saturation that makes your drums pop through.
A little more smack.
Yeah, a lot more smack. Let's put that on. This is with it off. That sounds pretty hi-fi and pretty, but this sounds a lot more aggressive. And for certain fills, you can even pump it. Like, for instance, I would do this. Like, maybe not that loud, but you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, right. Ride it during certain key moments.
Ride it when the aggression starts and you need it to bark out a little bit.
Add just a little bit more explosiveness.
Yeah.
To a good fill.
All right, so let's listen to these without plugins, and then turn the plugins off about 5 or 6 seconds in.
Cool. Sounds good.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Lots of choices.
So much more life and dynamic and just musicality to it, really.
And that concludes the drum portion of the program. On to some music stuff.